job to be difficult. He actually is the organizer. A lot of work, but I think it's been a great team. And last but not least, we also have Wyatt. Right, so get on with you guys. Everybody check. She's amazing.
All right. All right. Andrea, I hope you can hear me.
Hello?
We absolutely love you. You've done a fantastic job. She's Vanna White from afar. Did wonderful on those number drawings. So thank you, everybody, for everything. I mean, thank you for everything, but also sticking through a very dense day. And we're at the end with the founders panel here. So Andrea went ahead and introduced all of us, and I'm sure most of you know who we are. And so we wanted to kind of keep this light. Didn't want to sit here and talk about L0 potential. I mean, you can.
No, is my mic working? Is this on?
Here.
Yeah. I can't do. Yeah. So Diggle started out with, he sent a bunch of questions for the founders. It's like, what's the vision of Web 4.0? And I was like, fuck that. 8 hours of that. I looked at him. He's like, no, I teed myself up for some good answers. And I was like, you asshole. So I thought we'd make this a little, maybe we'll make it a lot, maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there. You know, we thought we'd make this a little fun and like humanize the whole thing and tell some stories, kind of meeting how this all happened. I think you kind of see where our vision's going. So, I mean, unless you really want to hear some vision shit, saying all that, it's like, what? I think that. Oh man. All right. So, how do we want to kick this off? What's like the first?
Well, since you don't leave the questions, that
so then I have to lead it. All right. Well, we'll talk. Wyatt and I were talking about. Dude, I think I'm cursed. It was my panel. Hello.
A lot of mics going on. I'm sorry.
Hello. Hello. Why don't we just do one mic? Hello. All mics are gone.
All right, let's see.
It happened.
Yeah. Okay. Test 1, 2. We are back. And the right guy has the mic. So, yeah, I think maybe I'll open it up and we'll just I think a big thing is that like founders, what makes us different founders than other ecosystems? I think the reason why I staged this question is because we often get compared to some of these companies that have Cisco CTOs that, figured out some math equation and started a network. And then we're like the most unlikely group of guys that came together, which I think has really permeated the brand into being different. And I think you framed it up very well, Mr. Jorgensen, when you were talking about your ethos in the introduction slide before your presentation went to shit. So maybe we can start there about how we're different. I mean, because it hasn't always been peachy. And that was one of the things that we said, let's not talk about how we've had founder disputes in the past, which is a very healthy, normal thing. But I think the wonderful thing is that we also have had many founder resolutions to figure out problems and bind together in a unified vision. So maybe we just go down and talk a little bit about that, about why you feel that we, as kind of a band of brothers, represent a little bit of a different energy in this industry. Do you want to start, Matthias?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. And, talking about stories, I mean, that's a good time to weave a little bit of story in because I got introduced to the guys of Constellation when they weren't even Constellation yet. And out of a co-working space. And, as things go, I was actually the first one who put money into the idea. And then it just started snowballing from then on. And you know, when I looked at it, it was always like this is a 0 to 1. It's either a scam or it's going to go big. so that was kind of like, you know, the bet if you look at it and evaluate it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, you know, that didn't understand what we were doing. And they was like, is this a scam? Hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? You know, this is what we got a lot in the early years. And then so coming back to your question is, so what does that make special, and what did it make special and still does is the team. And you're right, we're not the ex-Cisco team. We even though we do have labels, Oracle, European Central Bank, you know, there's NASA, you know, we can front those labels if we want to, but as characters, as people, we're different, and we all have a very specific strong suit. And the combination of those strong suits is what I find makes us unique. And that kind of like is created a balance that I believe creates a team. I always say it's like a SWAT team. You know, everybody has their role, everybody has a functionality in their strong suit, and the combination of the pieces, the team is what makes it. And I don't say that as a Silicon Valley, blah, 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 you know, what they say, the team. No, I actually mean that. And I've experienced it, and I lived through it, and it's fun. And so, yeah, other than that, I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks, but yeah.
Okay. So the question is, how do I see myself as a differentiated founder in the space?
How this founding team is different. It's founding
Go that route, buddy.
Or the founders found. Well,
this founding team is different.
there we go. You know, I think that there's something a little bit different about us in the sense that, like, I feel like throughout it all, I just feel like there's some at least genuine sense of authenticity to us and our real beings. I think at some point things go a certain route where you kind of go like the flow of your space, or, you know, the companies you're partnered with, investors, et cetera. And I just really think that, like, it's kind of been our own dance.
Yeah. So also, what I think what differentiates us, we know a bunch of founders in the space, and so it's not to say anything, you know, negative about them, is I think we are completely 100% okay with changing direction if we feel like it misaligns with who we are. We're like, you know what, there's money over there, but that's not the money we want. Yeah. You know, and so some people will just try to chase dollar signs, and we're just like, yeah, got to speak louder than that, because dollar signs are not going to cut it with these boys. So I think that is a strong differentiator.
Yeah, I'll jump in there. It's been wild working with you guys, man. You guys are a trip, and I'm no easy person. Like, you know, I think maybe you've all seen today is like how banded we are on our vision. We haven't seen each other in months. We don't always talk all the time, and it's amazing how we can all come together and share like a common vision, because we know we have true integrity on where we're going. Behind the scenes, I'm not going to lie to you, like we fight like brothers, and we do it all the time, and we come together and we're all in alignment, and we've been doing that for 4 years. So like things aren't changing. And I think that's the authenticity that Wyatt's talking about, and holding each other accountable has been our big thing. Like we hold each other accountable. It's not fun. If you heard some of our phone call, man, it takes some super self-actualization to go through what we've gone through. And there's a lot behind the scenes you don't all see, and building a protocol when people see so much value that's coming out of that every day.
Yeah, I just like, you know, one of the things that I'm so proud of is that we haven't had to compromise who we are. You know, I'm a weirdo, let's be honest. Like I'm one of the weirdest people ever, and I work very hard to not be weird. And I found my tribe, and that to me is what I feel like with this entire movement is, you know, Jorgensen said something, I think you mentioned this whole revenge of the nerds type of thing, right? Like, and that's kind of what's happening in this amazing movement. But unfortunately, it's largely wrapped around money. Everybody just sees money, 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 money. And that makes me cringe because this group never really got into this for the money. Yeah, money is certainly one of our top three, things that we care about, but it is not number one. Like, we want to affect and make the world literally a better place, not to sound like, Silicon Valley or something, but like we do, we wanted to create this vision that has stayed true the entire time. So that's what I'm so thankful for, because I heard terms like authenticity, genuine, those are the words that really make me happy, because I feel like I can be myself, not necessarily in front of the DOD, but in front of these guys. You should have seen us at dinner last night. I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out. We were having such a good time. It's so very passionate. I feel like we belong, and I feel like we really understand our community of degens and rejects and nerds. And I'm not saying that's what you guys all are, but that's what you guys all are, right? Like, that's what this movement's about, is people that want to take a shot at something that seems impossible. So I am going to bring up the Web 4 question, because I think it is weird, and I'm not going to answer it. I'm not, but I do want to. All right. I'm glad you brought it up. Oh my God. Okay. No, so I mean, but I often tell people, like, oh, I'm in Web 3, and they're like, what the hell is Web 2? What's Web 1? And so much education of bringing people into the fold. So less about Web 4, but I do think that the intentions of the future, what is everybody on this panel's intentions for what they want this to grow to in the future for yourself and the industry at large? And anybody can take it. Come on. All right, we got a volunteer.
Why are you passing me that buck? So, listen, guys. Web 4 is yesteryear, Diggles. Jack Dorsey's already at Web 5. Okay, so let's start there. Anyway, I mean, where do I see this going? I mean, like I said in one of my earlier remarks, I mean, this is the DEFCON 0 moment of DAG, and so there's a big future ahead, and I wouldn't even coin it around the term web whatever, web X, I don't care. These are just terms, marketing terms, to pretend that somebody understands something and people can pour money into it. But in terms talking to effects, what do we want to affect? And we came to do something better, to do something different. And I do believe we can do that. We are about to do that. We have shown you today how many people are building with us, and that is the building of that wave. And that's exciting. So being at that entry level, I think we can do things different, and that's just purely exciting.
Whatever you want all this to go to, right? All right, so we did talk about this a little bit, and so part of building a infinitely scalable and feeless protocol is that people can build whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want on it, right? And it allows, in the broader cryptocurrency space, then allows people from all over the globe to invest in what they want, how they want, however much they want, right? And so I think that Constellation, or HTTP more broadly, is poised to create a truly open network that is a full expression of democracy and fair trade and the free market. Now, beyond capitalist buzzwords, it also is the potential for marginalized communities to fold back into the global conversation and truly rebalance power with economics. And so that is what I'm the most hopeful for us to deliver to the world.
This is something I kind of thought about as like something we probably would talk about here. And so one thing I wanted to just say to everyone who's in this room and watching and a part of our community is that, like, this dream is now, it's not just us, it's the hopes and dreams of everyone here in this room, watching, in our community. Whenever you try to build something or start a company, there are just these moments where you're just so lonely. and you don't even know who, whatever could talk to or could ever make you feel like there was some meaning in what you were doing. And so, after 5-6 years of all this stuff, to just be here and be a part of you all, to be a part of those who have expanded on work that we've done, like Brian or Baron, in the words of my now friend and, someone just through a conversation, through our advisorship, Eric was telling me, like, I've kind of found, just real meaning being with everyone here. So I just wanted to shout out to the community, because I really think that the community is going to live on beyond all of us who are here right now. It's going to be something that defines everyone. So thank you.
It's like presidential speeches. That was great. I would say giving the gift of abundance. I think we all take that mindset as founders, was just like, we give everything and we give away and we just like don't look back. My dad always taught me, I had like a really bad incident when I was young. I got kind of scammed by somebody. I was like, I'm going to get even. He goes, do you want that to be your narrative of life? That's going to be your life. The next thing you do, you're going to just track somebody down and try to get your money back. And that's just going to be who you are. Or you can figure out how to be better than them. And I thought about that. And that's really been a pivotal part of my life, is like bestowing these gifts of abundance. And I want our community to see that too. Like, we see the way it changes people's lives when, they get access to DAG, they get access to information, not even just the money. It's like, we've always wanted to just give you guys information. And I see that with the entrepreneurs that we work with, like GeoJam and where they were when I first met them, Alchemy. You see this amazing stuff that's happened in less than a year. Like, we just gave them knowledge and they took it and went and gave them a shot and gave them access to our community. And you all gave them a shot, and they're not letting anybody down. It's been one of the most profound things I've ever seen. And I want that to continue, like hand over fist, that we just continue to breathe abundance, right? We don't look at scarcity, we look at abundance and this opportunity that we've all gotten. So on that note, wait, before you go into Web 4 shit,
We already did that.
Oh, yeah, that's not Web 4. I guess maybe that's like chaos magic right there, the abundance stuff. But I was going to share a story. Are you guys, jumping in?
No, go ahead. Sure.
All right, fine. I'm going to talk about, do you guys all know the story of how Wyatt and I met? Does anybody? No? Okay, maybe some people online. So I got tapped when I met Wyatt and Altif. They were working in a co-working space, and they were like, hey, they sat me down. They had this like amazing vision for an app. And they're like, oh yeah, this is how you raise, this is like 2017, early 2017. This is how you raise money online. This is how you do an ICO. And I was like, God damn, these guys have figured it out. And then I go, Wyatt, what do you care about? And he's like, oh, Ethereum's broken. And I went, elaborate. And he went on about how to fix Ethereum. And he's like, it's really good, but this is how you do it to get real world adoption and converge web, it wasn't Web 3 at the time. It's like Web 2 with blockchain. And it's like, dude, that's like the golden message. And they're like, well, do you want to give us money for our app or what? And I was like, no. I was like, and yeah, do you mind that I'm telling this story? And feel free to chime in, man. So what did I tell you? So after that, I looked at Wyatt and I go, all right, take all your knowledge that you have and go tell people, do like a meetup, do a lean, called a lean startup. And I forget where I was like traveling. Okay, well, that's super important for self-actualization. Sorry. So you guys did, so I was gone and you guys were like, oh yeah, we did. You want to tell the rest of the story? You tell it.
So that was great. And it was a very great job. A couple things. One, we were at the Battery.
Yeah.
I met you there. We were working, Altif and I, and a few other folks. Can I do shout outs? Just names.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, so we're there and I was talking about that. Yeah. anyway, Ben gave us this tagline, which was like, okay, so I've exited, I did a company, I sold it, blah blah blah, and we're talking to this to be like an advisor, right? So he gave us this line, which was, eat your own dog food. And it's like what's your shit? Like, what's your claim to fame? Like, you guys did Nyko, like, did it work? Did you have to send the money back, or like, did it whatever? But you still did it. And so that morphed into, and shout outs to, a lot of people in that thought process, that we had a conference just like the one that we're at today. So this is where this comes from. And so at that time, we needed to get our asses down to DevCon. And so I had been funding this company out of my own like engineering salary, which for any developers watching right now is a lot less than what we do pay pretty much everybody. And so and so put some shit out there, and folks showed up, and it was so funny because it wasn't like we thought we were fakes. We were like, oh my god, like this is like a failure, but it wasn't. It was like people really needed this knowledge in order to get on with their life. They didn't need to hear it from fucking Filecoin. They needed to hear it from Joe Schmo, who's had those pro bono calls with Ashbury Legal, who is our guardian angel, just name drop. And so yeah, that was it. We got the money, we got the DevCon. Matthias, I think, dropped his first pennies in there, met some other German dudes, and it was a snowball. And then I remember Ben came in. It was like December, it was before Christmas. It was like this whole kind of Christmas vibe. He had boxing gloves because he was doing it was like some kind of boxing class, but it was near that climbing gym. And then yeah, over by that brewery in the Mission. Anyway, you can find it. And yeah, and that's when the whole thing, Ben was there, Ben joined, and that was the story.
We sat down for hours deconstructing your white paper to make it. Yeah. So after you'd written it, it was in November, and we just sat down and we just broke it down for hours on how to make this like readable by people.
Which I'm not quite a person, if you haven't noticed.
It was tough. It was like one of the most challenging things. And at that point, I then I called on Diggles. Diggles was in town for Oracle meeting. I was like, hey, I need to sit down. I put together this presentation. I was like, what do you think? And Diggles looks at me and he goes, dude, what you're trying to do is a really big undertaking. I'm like, yeah, right. Isn't it crazy? But I think this guy could do it. I think we could do this.
I remember the slide deck, and it was blue, and it had all this kind of like IoT shit. It's probably in like the same Google Drive we still have. So yeah.
Yeah. So then you guys are making the white paper and stuff in early winter. And then, so it's finished at the end of December. So January the 5th, midnight, we released onto Bitcoin Talk and launched a Telegram channel. For some reason, we didn't do it in the middle of the day, like a regular person. So I'm at my house, and then all of a sudden these people start flooding in because we're doing like an airdrop and stuff. And so then it's just like, oh, there's thousands of people in here. There's no moderation. There's zero, just me. And it's midnight, and it's like, everyone's asleep. And so I just, for like 36 hours, I'm just in Telegram. Just in Telegram. Spam bots. This is years ago. Telegram still doesn't have any functionality, but it definitely didn't then. So I'm trying to like recruit admins, and I'm like, do you know enough about Telegram to at least help me out, just to balance off the time zones? And I remember Ben was like, this is a good test for you. I had to make sure you still had it. Yeah.
I'll round out the story on how the first fundraise came in. And so then December happened, and I remember us all getting together at my place in San Francisco, and like we had raised like maybe 500 grand, and we were like stoked. I was like, this is great. Seven. Yeah, we hadn't.
We were like, oh my God, we got 200.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then we like parted ways for the holidays, and then it was like January 10th through the 20th. My birthday was January 20th. I remember on my birthday, like our inbox got flooded, and it was like, we want to give you 500,000, a million, 5 million, 10 million. I'm like, oh, dude. I was like, who the hell are these people? This has got to be fake. I've never heard of this shit. And we just started jumping on the call. Matthias started jumping on the call. He flew out to a place to meet people. I flew out to places. You were in Miami, and it was just like the most gangbuster thing I've ever seen. And like in 2 weeks, there was like 30 million in ETH.
Shout out to Matthias who like closed. I want to say it was a $5 million ticket in Singapore. I don't think we should be talking about numbers. I think this is kind of boastful, but I also just want to say that was baller.
In ETH. I like to say that because that was before we all did USD.
Yeah, we flew out to Switzerland. That was crazy. I mean, you got to tell that.
I flew to LA. LA, there was a grip of, I like flew to see this. All right, we're going to pass on. All right, anyways.
I wasn't even there.
It was a wild story. The opportunity of protocol. So that was like a 6-month sprint of our life that changed in a crazy way.
Yeah. So actually, this is kind of funny about origin story. So I'd known Wyatt Fierce before that, and so he's like, "Do you want to just help me, like, kind of help me with this thing? Like, I just need someone to, like, manage community and customer stuff. 'Cause that's like my bread and butter." And so I just left my last job, right? So I was like on unemployment. I was like, well, Wyatt, you got me to the end of January. Then I got to go back to work. So then in January, we raised a fuck ton of money. And then I was like, oh, now we have to build this like massive company. Like Diggles at the time wasn't on board. And then it was like, knock, knock, knock. And it's like, we got the money to hire you now. And he's like, all right, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I had this like dope job with Oracle, right? And I was like, you're building a new internet? That's super sus. That's what I felt. I was like, this is a huge undertaking, bro. But you're really excited about it, and it seems to make sense, right? And so when they brought me on, I was like, we got to make sure this is real. Like, how are we going to like try to prove that this is actually like not some hot air? But it was exciting. And like, we had all these magic moments. That first like 6 months of 2018 were insane, right? Like when Ray showed up, remember? We were like in San Francisco. Ben and I were at the WeWork we had at the time. And he's like, we're taking this meeting with this guy, Ray from Hello Kitty or something. I was like, what does he want to do with us? And he sits down, he like word for word tells us what our network does. And I was like, is that what we do? And he's like, I want to be your advisor. I was like, are you a time traveler? What's going on here? Why? Anyway, it was just a moment after moment of amazing things in that early stage. And we created some amazing bonds. We went through a lot of people, though. Let's be honest. There was a lot of humans that were involved because we all of a sudden just had all this money. We were trying to figure things out. So we kind of scaled up, scaled down, scaled up, scaled down. And I'm just so proud that all of us are still here. And while I know we could share stories forever, I think we should round this up with one last question, which, does that sound okay?
No, I think it's good.
Okay. Yeah, we can sit here and rap about bullshit all day. Yeah, oh my God. You remember that time we were at TechCrunch and we were at TechCrunch in the booth and this guy comes up and is like, hey, can we ask you some questions? And me and all T first name, I was like, sure. And then all of a sudden, like out of the shadows comes a whole camera crew with lights and all this stuff. And the guy's like, all right, my grandma has $3. How do we put those $3 on your ledger? And we're both looking at each other like, do you want to take this one? It was so intense. So here's the last thing I want to ask is what advice do you have? Because one of the things that's very intimidating is people look up to us, right? And I know none of us like that energy. Like I personally get a little freaked out when people are like stoked, but I do like to offer advice to entrepreneurs or people that are looking to be more bold or enter this industry. And I think we're in this renaissance of the most porous opportunity than we've ever seen in our lives. Like Mike Butcher said earlier, there's more opportunity than there are people to build against it right now, which is an index we have never seen. When I was a kid, and I was born in like 1958, so I'm old. And anyways, when I was a kid, an entrepreneur or a business owner was like a rare thing. It was like you really had to be bold, but now like the barrier to entry is lower than it's ever been before. But at the same time, it's a very hardcore environment. And we talk about mental health, and that's something that a lot of people don't touch on because every one of us has had to confide in the group. We've all cried in front of each other. We've all had breakdowns, just being like, I don't know if I can do this. This is too much. A lot of responsibility, a lot of eyeballs on us, very stressful moments. So what advice do you guys have for young or just anybody that's looking to get into this space? Who wants to take this one first? And we'll end on this one as an encouraging note. Matthias, do you want to start? Oh,
Wait, so, no. So, before we answer this question, so I want my co-founders to just think about it for a little bit. I need to announce the pitch winner.
Oh.
Yeah. So, as you guys watched the pitch competition earlier, some great pitches were up there. And so the winner of the pitch competition will receive 100,000 DAG tokens, as well as marketing across all of our channels, which is like 100,000 plus people or so. And so the winner of the 22 HyDef pitch competition is OBS. Good. And then, so second was Concord and third was Cyberlead.
Nice.
Okay. So well done, everyone. And Andrew will reach out and stuff. But.
Want to answer the question?
Yeah. Shit. All right. What would I tell future founders is, so like Diggle said, it's hella hard, right? But I believe that Nike had it right. Just do it, right? And if you are doubting yourself about a lot of things, or that imposter syndrome, like, rears up, optimize on the side of execution than fear, because we are addicted to our own limitations and we have to see ourselves beyond them.
Yeah, really. You can take a round. I want to take a round. Okay. I was talking to somebody today, and I really think that it came up, this concept of perseverance. And things aren't going to be perfect, but like, you're not here to be perfect. You're here to have meaning, and you're here to make it. As long as you can keep generating meaning, then it will be worth it. And like, I think just one other thing I want to say to the community also, just like the future of all of this, and like, where does it come from? It comes from all of you persevering and making your own dreams come true. And that, I think as we grow, look at other protocols, big things, big projects, like the new heroes, the next generation are watching right now. So, do it.
You guys are so aspirational. I was going to be like tactical. I'm like, step one, get a therapist. And I said this earlier, get 3 if you're me. I call them executive coaches in my calendar that this companies can see. Step number 2, if you want a tactical thing, read about DeFi. That panel that you heard today in DeFi, like, that's the future. If you start understanding that, that reminds me of 2017, like learning about all the different currencies, how it moves, how money moves. Like, that's going to put you on an edge. And then on the personal level, I don't know, believe in yourself, man. I've doubled down, tripled down on myself. And like that tends to be my game. And I'm like, I know what I know. And not everybody's going to believe in you, and they're going to try to make sure you don't believe in yourself. But I know that sounds so cliche, but it's like, seriously, just double down, right? Yeah.
Very inspiring. I love all of it. I love all of it. No, I mean, I really like it. And to add to that is, and in a more generalized sense, less tactical, follow your interest. So interest leads energy and attention. So whatever you're interested in, it could be DeFi, could be finance, could be crypto, could be anything else. But my true core belief is interest leads attention and energy. And if you let that energy out enough, some opportunity will emerge, because you'll immerse yourself in that topic, in that whatever it is. And in that very malleable reality concept we're living in, once you place your energy, doors will open, and you just need to do that long enough to be successful. So follow your interest.
All right, I'll wrap it up. I'll bring us home. I love all these answers. I think they're phenomenal, right? And it's, you know, people ask me like what my superpower is if I had one, and it's relationships. And not to get too, you know, into mysticism here, but I believe that God is decentralized and that all of us are nodes on a larger network, and that we are building reputation, and that comes through relationships, right? Like I could go off on this because I just have a lot of, it's a very strong thing, right? If you're running towards something, you're going to see more fruit than if you're running away from something. And I see right now that there's this huge opportunity where people are being opportunists, being like, oh, this is the new gold rush. I'm going to make some of that internet money. I'm going to get rich quick, which is really them running away from a lifestyle or something that they are unhappy with. So I really want to dovetail on what Matthias was saying here, which is how do you get your light to burn brighter and find that excitement? I say it on calls all the time. Excitement is the ticket to the dance. If you're not excited, this isn't going to work. You have to see beyond yourself and really believe in something. And we can sniff a million times in a room being somebody like just another opportunistic that's just trying to get in on this versus them really bleeding this and believing in it. And that's what I love about this team, is that we are all authentically into this, and we are relentlessly going to do whatever it takes to keep on pushing this forward, unless there's some weird meteor attack or something. But we're here for this, folks. And so I encourage all of you to take some time to talk to these folks later today, unless you guys don't want to talk about anything. And I really want to send it off by thanking everybody for making our first HyDef conference a smash success.
AV team was amazing.
You guys did great. This was a lot. We love you guys. We know it was a lot. You know, we were doing all sorts of stuff to GeoJam, to the community. Thank you, everybody. And that's the end of show.